you kind of have to deal with an ether spider. Kind of cool. Outside of that, I just want to announce ahead of time, Monsters Beast is almost ready to go, and that is why I'm allowed to even make this announcement. So without any further ado, and thank you all for being here, I want to go ahead and run the trailer before we talk about it. I'll see you in a minute.
In the case of nuclear or radiological fallout, people living around potential targets such as military bases and chemical plants.
In a universe where magic and machines combine to create the ultimate mechanized warfare, dragons roam the stars and the undead spread like a virus. Using your mech, you defend the citizens of your galaxy from this reawakened evil and seek out new allies in unexplored territories. Technology has come a long way in the last 100 years. Once, pilots actually had to pull levers and hit buttons in the correct order to operate their mechs. Now, with synchronization, the mind, body, and soul are integrated into their mech, allowing for quicker actions in real time. As we've developed this new technology, our enemies have been creating mechs of their own. Fueled by corruption and evil, many fiends have built machines that run on the corrupted souls of others. The souls of pilots, of those who have died in their mechs, sometimes get trapped inside, creating a vessel for the undead. Meanwhile, Celestials have managed to steal plans from the fiends, allowing them to build divine mechs to protect themselves from the harsh and brutal powers of corruption. Before long, animals and beasts started to feed on radiation and other wastes produced by this new technology and the processes required to create it, causing them to become mutated and grow into abominations of their own, a challenge for even the savviest of mech pilots. The kaiju of the land are also fed, growing into terrors so large and powerful that mechs are helpless against them. As such, we outfitted our ships with the ability to create portals to other planes and worlds, taking to the stars. I dreamed that we would find peace in the great beyond. Now, I know how wrong I was. May the gods have mercy on our souls.
Welcome back. Yes, it is confirmed. Mechfinder is our next amazing project. One of our biggest, most ambitious things we have ever written or worked on. In fact, there is 4 authors on this project that are main authors. And then we had freelancers come in and come help us with it, including the person you heard that voiceover, Kit, or Kit Roll Cosplay, did that lovely trailer. It was edited by one of the authors, actually, Andrew Hooper. But I know what you guys are here for. You're here for content, for spoilers. And now, after months of me being forced to stay quiet because I can't say a lot of stuff, they've let me loose. And now it is on the world's problem, or actually, the galaxy's problem. So let's talk about Mechfinder. What even is it if you've never heard of it, or just let's just dive right into it. I am so jittery right now. I'm very excited. So Mechfinder is a Pathfinder 2e and D&D 5e compatible hack that brings fantasy into the sci-fi mecha genre. Let's see if Google Slides will be nice to me this time, because earlier it wasn't. All right, there we go. So what is Mechfinder? Mechfinder is this galaxy and this universe where mechs have taken over. We'll talk a little bit more about the galaxy in just a moment, but a broad overscope is you are piloting a fantasy mech, essentially. So from your bard to your wizard to your magus, you get a little bit of everything in this incredible hack. We are going to provide you with not only mech building rules, variant rules such as party mech. So if you want everybody to be piloting one mech like a Mechazord, yes, this entire stream will be filled with mech references. I absolutely promise you. You should strap in because it's going to be a lot. The ideal of Mechfinder is sometimes there are threats so large in the universe that only a metallic titan can take them down. For instance, as we all know, in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you can't fight kaijus. Kaijus are far too large and far too strong. But in Mechfinder, they're just the right level. Mechfinder aims to be available to any system that can house mechs in it. So, as of right now, we are working on the D&D 5e and Pathfinder 2nd Edition versions. However, we are in the middle of writing guides for Lancer and for Starfinder. Now, Starfinder took a little bit more of a turn than we thought it was with the announcement of Starfinder 2nd Edition, which we are very, very, very excited for, and serves Mechfinder perfectly. So, we do want to bring in Mechfinder to various systems, various guides, into bringing it into whatever story you wish to tell. If you want to play Mecha versus Monsters Enhanced Edition, it is perfect for what Mechfinder has to offer. So let's talk about Arvaxum. Arvaxum is the setting to which all of Mechfinder is hosted in. You can find a number of creatures, a number of new planets, and dozens and dozens of stories to be able to be told. Now, we are very, very proud to be working on Arvaxum. As the trailer kind of gave you a little bit of a hint to it, we are working with a friend of the channel named JT. They are currently helping us with creating a new trailer that dives deeper into Arvaxum. It's not quite ready yet. However, I can tell you, I wrote the script. I had one of our editors, Victoria, come in and help, spice it up, make sure it's really nice and pretty. And it is currently being worked on. But Arvaxum is the large scope setting. In fact, we have a little bit of an art. And folks, I'm saying this right now. It blew my breath away the second I saw the first sketch of it. And its final product looks amazing. So let's take a look. This is one of the most beautiful scenes we've ever had commissioned for Eldritch Osiris Games. This is on a moon adjacent to a planet called Dreskar. We'll talk about Dreskar in just a minute. But as you can see, we have our swashbuckler iconic, our psychic iconic, and our bard iconic, taking on what seem to be a swarm of mechanized demons. As you can see below, the Homunculata, which I am so sorry for mispronouncing. Please, my dyslexia is an absolute nightmare. But it is mecha versions of them, with various other demons leading the charge. Dreskar is a planet that is currently overrun by various types of fiends. 3 warring factions of devils, demons, and daemons all have begun their fight for control of the planet. And this just happens to be a moon where Animus Ore is hidden. You see, where coming out of those portals are more Homunculata, but that's Animus Ore. And you'll notice in the setting that Animus Ore is very, very important, as it is essentially fiendish ore. Fiends can use this to teleport anywhere in the galaxy, and it's very, very dangerous. But this art is absolutely incredible. It was done by our lead artist, Sebastian Hirsch. I hope they get to see this. We will be seeing more of their art coming up. But I also want to talk about what more this setting is going to bring you, and also what some of our other co-authors have been working on. In fact, I've seen a few of them in chat. Pilot training. Now, you have to start somewhere as a pilot. There's no just assuming, hey, you're so smart, you just magically got a mech. Go you. Nope. In fact, we had Aubrey Knotts from Goblins and Gays, very, very close friend of EOG's, and has worked on Monstrous Beasts: A Guide to Friend Them. Also are over at Queen's Court Games. Write out our section for pilot training. They, I kid you not, have been working on some incredible schools, incredible places that you start your adventure. Even pilots have to start at level 0. So to move on to our next slide, this is a little bit of art that you might find within the Mechfinder game itself. This is the Arcasis Technical Institute. It is basically a school of hackers. You see, hacking doesn't quite work as it does in your typical sci-fi setting. Hacking involves getting into magic and the sync itself. Synchronization is a large part of Mechfinder, and as you will see going forward, it plays a large role in terms of controlling a mech and how it interacts with the pilots. So the Arcasis Technical Institute works with various companies that we will see in just a minute to underlie some of those little technical glitches within the sync. And it is absolutely incredible. Aubrey is working very, very hard on making sure the setting, and like I said, is one of the main co-authors of the book. You will see their name right there on the cover, along with our next author, PJ McGraw. Now, no universe is complete without their factions, and mechs are no different from that. You see, PJ has taken on a very important role when it comes to fleshing out the universe beyond the planets, beyond the creatures. In fact, there are groups that you need to join, or you don't quite need to, but it's probably best that you do, to explore the universe for a collective goal, so to say. For example, one of my favorite is the Council of Banners. Now, these are a group of knights, quite literally in shining armor. There are 7 different banners you can fly under, but I will say what my personal favorite is, and PJ is more than free to talk about this after the stream, is the Order of the Golem. Now, I am a big fan of anything that's Jewish adjacent, and the Order of the Golem was one of a great achievement to see within the book. They are all about serving and protecting those who are in mourning or in suffering from great loss. They have this really unique system of gaining rank within it. But there are other really, really cool factions, such as the Collective, which is absolutely incredible. Basically, it's almost like bugs, but not quite like bugs. You're working to get a little bit of sweet, a little bit of reward for the betterment of all. We will go into further detail about different types of factions, but just know that was 2 of the various ones that you can see. And the Council of Banners, once again, has 7 individual banners you can fly under. Now, I want to talk about something that's really important to me, and I'm really, really excited to show this off because we've been working very hard to make sure these look amazing. Let's talk about our magical corporations. This is fantasy. Why wouldn't people with magic try to take a little bit of money or gold to go with it? See, these magical corporations have to build the mechs, have to provide you with the tools necessary to combat such large threats in this universe. And with the help of Sir Hekala, who is currently in chat, we have created 5 incredible corporations for you. So you will see here in this GIF various propaganda posters that we had created for the purposes of displaying what an advertisement would kind of look like in the universe of our Baxim. You have Primec, a organization that is completely run by Fae, and their main headquarters is on the Fae plane itself, guarded by a jungle that is ever moving. And to get a mech with them, you must make a deal. And at some point, they will ask for a favor in return. Or perhaps, maybe not Primal was your go-to, and you would prefer a more arcane version of your mech. Well, Runic Robotics has you covered. With classes such as the Magus and the Wizard, you can get a little bit taste of pure bureaucracy, so to say. They are all about dotting their I's and crossing their T's. Runic Robotics brings this really fun arcana flavor to it, and are actually some of the first people to develop synchronized technology. All these people, all these corporations have one page right now dedicated to them. So Runic Robotics will be further explored, and you get to learn about a little bit of secrets they hold behind the door. Perhaps Arcana is not where you want to go. I get it, it's a long spell list. What about Apotheon? You go Divine. See, Apotheon represents the deities, also the fiends. Anything that is connected to the divine is covered in Apotheon. Each factory, a church onto a god themselves. Hosted in each of domain. For example, if you worship the god of war and fire, you might find an Apotheon factory sitting right up top of a about to erupt volcano, or in the fire plane. Apotheon has everything you need when it comes to a deity and beyond. But, you know what? Maybe worshiping gods, this is not for you. Maybe you don't want that divine connection. Perhaps you would rather turn inward, focus on your emotion, your expressiveness. The outer forge has you also protected. Developed a unique technique called dream spinning. The occult forge literally brings the occult to your mechs. Perhaps there's a little bit of an abjuration feeling to your mech. Perhaps it runs purely on your emotions. When you're feeling sad, your mech will change colors, perhaps even change shape a little bit. The Outer Forge is an amazing corporation when it comes to expressiveness, but like anything with the occult, there's always a drawback. But I'm not going to tell you what it is quite yet, because perhaps you don't want magic at all. You're a martial. What you want is a big sword, a shield, and maybe a few guns to go along the way. Well, Grisgorp and Rankus have you covered. See, Grisgorp and Rankus specialize in martial abilities of mechs. From alchemist to fighter to barbarians, they have you covered. In fact, one of their proud and achieving lines are the gunslingers. You see, gunslingers are very common in this universe, but they also pack a pretty hefty punch with all of the new guns, firearms, and other new weapons that we are adding, like the Zeppo gun, which, and I will give Sean props to this, helped write us for a gravity gun, essentially. You will pick up junk and you will fling it across, or perhaps you would use it as a melee weapon. Or, we shall see with one of our upcoming artworks, another firearm that was written by PJ that we're very, very excited to show you. But that's enough about the corporations. I feel like they've had their ego driven up enough as is. You should see their owners. Let's talk about planets. See, no universe is complete without a new planet. We have brought in several of them, and if you don't even want to play Pathfinder, you don't want to play D&D, but you really like the concept of these planets, you are more than free using Snap or a system-neutral alternative plug-and-play, which we are proudly debuting with Mechfinder. You can take one of these planets and just plop it right into your Stars Without Numbers game. Perhaps you really want it in that Starfinder, that Lancer game. We're very, very excited to be providing you new planets to be exploring. These are just 3 planets that we had drafted up just for this stream, but also there are a few others that we're not allowed to talk about quite yet. I know I said it was a spoiler stream, but we can only show you so much. as art comes in, as various other things. But these are 3 major planets. To the left, the largest one is Dreskar. Like I said earlier, it is a war planet that has been completely overrun by fiends. Devils, demons, and daemons all compete to get the most land, cause the most destruction, but is also home to one of the other factions that we haven't really talked about yet, the Abyssal Forge. The planet of Dreskar has had several crusades, revolutions, but they've all failed. The unholy energy is far too strong, and if you find yourself on the planet, you might find yourself tempted by corruption. Or we can talk about Mevhet. Mevhet's in the middle there. Mevhet is the planet of the dead. More specifically, undead. It's the dead planet. Created by a elven necromancer, now turned lich, Ventruthrum, which I made sure there was a lot of L's in there because Elvish, it needs to have that many L's. They literally killed a planet, used that as their soul cage, and then formed Mevhet with the help of a darkened god that just happened to be adjacent to all of this. Mevhet uses various tactics to get people onto the planet. Think kind of like a mobile ad game that is always lying about what it actually is. Mevhet is home to various events, such as the Lichdom Factory, which, creates the undead mechs, but also events such as the Death Bowl, where people can earn their way up through the corporation via how well they do in certain skills. Mevhet is a very corpo-heavy planet, and everything functions on bureaucracy, with Ventruthrul at the top trying to make as much money as possible. And thus is our capitalist lich. It was a poor play on words, but I stick with it anyways. And last, but not least for this stream, we have Veltusa. Veltusa was written by actually one of our freelancers, Simon Hunter, who I cannot say what he has been working on just yet, but when we get to the end, I will tell you a little bit about it. This is a crystalline planet, with crystals forming whole jungles. You can find various new species and ancestries all across this planet, and is known as the Great Ringed Planet, for in fact they have 6 rings constantly surrounding them. It is home to various creatures such as the Titan Crystal Dragon, and many, many more. You can find out more about this when we, do our giant launch of Mechfinder, which I will come to in a minute. But I keep mentioning creatures, and I know just in the back of your mind, you're just like, James, just tell me about the creatures. I gotta know what I'm gonna be fighting. Well, don't worry. I got you covered. I don't even want to give these bad boys an announcement. I just want to jump right into them. But believe me, the threats in Mechfinder are very, very much real, and only a skilled pilot can take them down. For instance, the Mecha Lich. Now, this art was done by Luis de la Torre, and I'm so sorry if I mispronounced that, but this is our Mecha Lich. This Lich has been using the Cyber Plane, which is a new plane of existence, to harvest its necrotic energies to form something nefarious. Now, next to it, you can see a stat block. This is partially remastered for Pathfinder 2nd Edition's remaster, as we do not have the full remaster quite yet. I cannot, if you see a spell in there that just doesn't look quite right, I promise it will all get updated by the time the full remaster is out. But I'm very, very excited to be showing off the Mecha Lich, because he's also accompanied by our next creature, an ancient Titan Cyber Dragon. Now, I said this before, there is a cyber plane. If you had to imagine it, imagine all of the internet, anything that runs on electricity, home to one specific plane. Now, cyber dragons are very common within this plane. However, To get the name Titan, you must grow to an unbelievable size. And this is gargantuan, meaning this dragon is 250 feet tall and is more than ready to make you its next meal. The Titan Dragons is a template that you're going to be able to add on to any type of dragon. So if you wanted to see a Titan Dragon, this brings you the threat that is currently present in all of Mechfinder. Because remember, you are fighting things that no adventuring party could handle without this such great power. And the ancient Titan Cyber Dragon is definitely worthy of its name of dangerous. Now, to fight these creatures, you must actually have to have a mech. And so we gotta talk about the classes. You see, every single Pathfinder 2nd Edition class is available in Mechfinder. Meaning, anything that has ever been third-party content, such as the Tarot Master from Eldritch Osiris Games, the Metamorph from EOG, or any other class that you really feel speaks to you, is available in Mechfinder. We wanted to make sure this thing was as third-party compatible as possible, so nothing is off the table. However, I'll admit, Paizo's got some cool classes, so we had some art done up to prove our concept of Mechfinder. So let's talk about the Psychic. See, our Psychic here, this is our Psychic Iconic. How gorgeous is the artwork, by the way, folks? I mean, just incredible. This was also done by our lead, Sebastian Hursk. Absolutely incredible. So this is actually a great example of what a sample page is going to look like in Mechfinder. As you can see on the left-hand side, you're going to see all of a sample build for what a possible mech could look like. Because in Pathfinder, you got a lot of choices. You got so much versatility and so much customization that we wanted to kind of give you an example of what a different kind of mech would look like. On top of that, you're also going to get a little intro snippet from a first-person perspective of what it's like to be piloting that mech. So below the POV is just going to be an overview of what the class is, how it works in Mechfinder, how you can kind of translate some of the mechanics that you kind of felt were a little, maybe it was just a little weird. But I've been looking at this art since like March, and I've been dying to show this off. Now, we do love a good occult caster, but what about a martial? You know, come on, we gotta give some love to the martial classes. So let's move on to our next bit of artwork that was specifically requested to go into this stream. The Champion. Champion is one of my favorite classes in all of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and it has made a welcome home in Mechfinder. This was created by PJ McGraw, who's currently in chat. This Iconic has been fully statted out, has a backstory, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. But just like the Psychic, you can see there, we have a sample champion, a little POV, and then talking a little bit about how the champion integrates into the Mechfinder universe. One of my favorite parts about this art is that it debuts a new item to Mechfinder. If you look at that right arm, that is a gun lance. It is an incredible combination weapon that allows you to not only joust your foes, but you can ram them in with a nice attack and then start unleashing hellfire within their systems. The champion is the king of defense and does so much. Oh my god, Simon, hello, we were just talking about Veltusa like a second ago. The gun lance is absolutely incredible. I am in love with this champion. So like I said, it's all going to be available. Every Starfinder class, every Pathfinder class, it's all going to be there. I will be answering questions in a minute, but I do need to say thank you to so many incredible people who made this book possible, and I couldn't fit them all into one slide, but I will go over as many as I can remember because I'm still overfilled with excitement, so my brain is a little rushy right now. So these are the writers and contributors of Mechfinder. Unfortunately, I had to leave off a good chunk of EOG, but don't worry, they've all been writing. You can actually check out the Eldritch Osiris Games website to find all of the Eldritch Osiris Games staff members. But these are some of our these are kind of our main players, so to say. We have our 3 co-authors, Aubrey Knotts, PJ McGraw, and Andrew Hooper, all playing vital roles into making Mechfinder possible. Basically, they kind of just sit there as I rant at them, and they go, James, please, for the love of God, go take a nap. I'm kidding. They actually do a ton of work. Like I said, they have each contributed various portions of Mechfinder, and I would not be here giving this presentation if it was not for their incredible amount of help. Now, John Holmes is a freelancer that we've worked with and actually created the Relics of Galarian line, and we love their work so much that they have actually brought in 5 new relic types into Mechfinder. So we're not leaving all our poor GMs hiding in the dark without any additional support beyond creatures. No. John has made sure that you have additional treasure to hand out to your players. Now, our next freelancer is Simon Hunter. Simon was one of the first people to hear about Mechfinder and was so incredible and excited to work with us that we brought him in, and he already has written an adventure for Mechfinder set on the world of Convinus, which I'm not going to talk about just quite yet, even though I really want to. We get to see the debut of a few new types of creatures, such as the bionic grizzly bear. And I mean, it's a 100-foot tall grizzly bear that has been infected with with mecha parts. And he did such a fantastic job with the adventure. It's called Unearth Your Metal. I want to show it off. We have a cover ready to go. It's not in this stream, however, but without Simon, we wouldn't have been able to flesh out certain portions of the project. And I have to give the biggest thank you to Sebastian Hirsch. Sebastian has been an absolute advocate for Mechfinder since I first even approached them with this project. In fact, it was their art in Monstrous Beasts: A Guide to Friend Them that brought him into this project. See, he created an art concept called the Mechrati, and that led to such inspiration for me that we had to continue it. So Sebastian has done the art once again for the champion, for the psychic, and that very first scene that we saw of Mechfinder. They have been doing absolute incredible work, and this is only a fraction of what we can show off. As you can see there at the bottom right, there's a bard, and we have their full art ready to go, as well with the swashbuckler, and another one that I'm going to let Aubrey show off later. So thank you everybody that's on this list who are not off this list. There have been so many playtesters that have come in that have thankfully been keeping their mouths a little quiet on this to make sure that the balance has always been correct. Each iteration, they've been absolutely championing it. So I gotta give props to everybody who's just sat in a Discord call with me and just let me talk about the game, has read over the game, and have been absolute champions when it comes to supporting the project, both morally, physically, or writing for it. I mean, even if you just saw the book, it is an absolute honor for you to even be a part of this. Now, I can't end this stream on such a high note unless I had one bigger announcement than all of this. and that is you can sign up for Mechfinder right now. Our Kickstarter page is going live in 1 month. To this day, on September 12th, you can find Mechfinder fully launched on Kickstarter, and you go to the link on the screen, https bit.ly/ksmechfinder, and you can find a ready-to-go launch page. This lets us know how many people who are even remotely interested in supporting the project, in showing support. You know, it basically kind of just says, hey, people really like this idea. And it's completely free. You can go to the link. I just put it into chat. You can check it out. It's got a little bit more information about what the project is. I made sure it was nice and pretty looking before we went live with the page. But you can right now, I swear to God, real link, go sign up. It means the world to us if you just sign up for a notification. It is so incredible to have literally everybody here working on this project. That being said, there is still time budgeted in my schedule. And that means I can take questions. So if anybody has any question, there is no mod here to yell at me, to say no. So if anybody has any questions, I just keep ranting for the next 13 minutes. It's words. I'm still very, very excited. So if you have any questions about Mechfinder, please shoot them in the chat real quick. I will just keep ranting until I find one. Now, Mechfinder has been in development since January of this year. It really spawned off a weird concept that I literally, at like midnight of New Year's Eve, I just started writing on an idea. I'm a very, very big Pacific Rim fan. As you can see, I just got the art from Gen Con. I was very, very excited to hang that up the other day. But it has been absolutely ambitious. And I mean, there's like gonna be roughly 50 new creatures that you can fight against. I mean, like from NPCs such as bombers to hackers to junk mechs. It's got so many things, including new types of like kaijus that we have not yet seen. It's got so much content in it, on top of like the variant rules I didn't even get to talk about, the build a mech system for building your mech from ground up. The Kickstarter page is going to have a lot of more information about it, but also including, and I forgot to mention this earlier, so I'm very glad I had the chance to rant about this now, a full demo. We released the teaser demo. You can go to eldritchosirisgames.com to go check it out. However, we're going to be making, and it's almost done, I just got to put in the edits for it, a full playable demo, roughly for levels 1 through 5. However, there are guidelines for going above. That includes things such as a deeper guide into the corporations, samples of all classes in Mechfinder, including the Bard art, which, by the way, the Bard art, real nice. It's going to include a little bit of everything that makes Mechfinder really, really unique, and fully playable. You can just grab and go with, if you know how to play Pathfinder, you know how to play D&D, or you really like the concepts, it's going to be there for you. Will there be a physical and a PDF copy? Will there be one? Yes, there is going to be a physical copy. I'm very, very excited for the physical copy because we're going to commission a brand new cover for it. But on top of all that, there is going to be a PDF copy. There's going to be a path builder support to the best that we can. We know that this hack kind of way doesn't fully work on it, but we are going to try our best. Full Foundry VTT support. Some of our add-ons build on top of that, and also brings on some freelancers like Holly D to come in and tell a bunch of short stories set in the world, in the galaxy of Arvaxum, so you get a deeper look into what everything has to fully entail for you. There's a lot coming into this project. And when I said it was my most ambitious project, I'm even including opening up EOG at the very, very start. We have so many people working on this. It's absolutely insane. Since Paizo announced Starfinder 2e will be 100% compatible with PF2e, albeit with different metas, how could Starfinder 2e Mechfinder look? Great question. I am very, very excited. We actually, from judging what the from what the field test has looked like for Starfinder Second Edition, we are working very close with one of our EOG members, Sam. He's very, very in tune with Starfinder, a lot more in tune than I am. But since it is going to be fully Pathfinder 2e compatible, it's going to be Mechfinder compatible. We do know that it's going to have different metas. You know, Starfinder, from what it looks like, is going to be focusing a lot more on ranged abilities. I can talk about the soldier class from what we've seen. We already had automatic weapons in the game written well before the field test. We love the new suppressed condition. I think it's absolutely incredible, and I love the concept. Area of effect guns, we had that as well. I'm not saying, oh yeah, we wrote it all before Paizo. They probably wrote this all a year ago. But that being said, we are fully proud that Mechfinder is going to be Starfinder compatible. We are hoping to then release a guide, depending on when it drops, that either we will... I don't want to promise anything, because if I say, like, oh, we'll do a full Starfinder 2e Kickstarter, and, you know, it doesn't pan out, I don't want to, you know, see somebody on Twitter go, James, you said that you do it. So I can't promise it. However, we are working on a Starfinder First Edition guide that explains why some of the magic might be missing, why different corporations have a different play in Starfinder. We're working very, very hard to respect the game, to make sure it has the love and attention it needs, including with the Lancer version of it. In fact, I have written, I'm very, very proud of it, the Magus frame for Lancer. I'm not showing it off yet because it still needs a balance patch or two. But we are very keen on making sure this is every type of system compatible. If you really felt, hey, this is a cool idea for Call of Cthulhu, I really want to see Mechs of Cthulhu, we're going to do our best to be able to provide such a universe that it's very plausible to see that kind of exploration. The Kickstarter is looking really, really sharp right now. I've been working on the page for the better most of about the last month and a half. We got our full approval, as you can see by signing up below. And it has been an absolute pleasure to work with all these various freelancers. We have a few stretch goals already set up, including bringing on a few friends of ours that, you know, we haven't really had the chance to either work with on this project, or their schedules didn't, you know, line up. I kid you not, I'm trying to stack this book full of so much content. It is insane. And on the topic of that, I didn't want to mention this. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about physical. We are making a special edition version of Mechfinder, by the way. I should have mentioned this earlier. I don't have art of it yet because it's currently being worked on by Sebastian, who did all the lovely scenes that you saw in art that you saw earlier. We are going to do a special edition copy for those who really prefer the special edition look, or want the you know, better paper, better color, so on and so forth. There's a lot of steps in making a special edition. I don't want to like talk about, you know, go very deep into what it's like to be a publisher. But we are doing a special edition for those who really, really love it. Since you mentioned Lancer, the 5 companies going to have a shitload of mechs that go from LL 1 to 3 that fully cover D&D 5e / Pathfinder 2e mech capabilities. I don't want to promise anything just yet. As we all know, I'm a very big simp for Monarch. Is obviously the best frame in all of Lancer. Take my word for it. That being said, I don't want to say we're going to, you know, say, you know, like, oh, the Magus mech is for SSC or for Horus. We are going to see, hopefully in the guide, how each of the 5 companies plays a role in the Lancer setting as much as we possibly can, or see that, you know, the Magus is part of the Runic Robotics line. So if you got LL 1 through 3 include Magus frame, it will be there. It really depends. We're working with a few people to make sure the balance is very intact for Lancer. We at Eldritch Osiris Games have always been really proud of how much balance and time and effort we throw into products. We really care about respecting the systems that we're writing for, and thus when it comes to Lancer, we want more experienced Lancer writers. I've done a little bit of writing for Lancer in my free time, nothing published. I've obviously played a lot of Lancer to know that Monarch's the best. But the we want to make sure Lancer is given the love it needs. That being said, hopefully, to give your really short question a broader answer, hopefully it will. I want to keep spoiling stuff. We have new basic actions. I think that's pretty cool. I'm just gonna keep rambling until end of stream. New basic actions such as take stress and targeted shot brings, you know, different types of mech feels to Pathfinder 2nd Edition and D&D 5e. So if you take stress, you can impair a condition, but you get a +2 circumstance bonus to an attack roll, saving throw, skill check, a bunch of other stuff. If you wanted to perhaps play something a little bit akin to Battletech, where you're targeting specific, you know, the arms, the legs, the frame, the headpiece, there is rules for that as a basic actions, 1 action of a targeted shot, and it's pretty cool. Inflicts conditions, and I'm really proud of how it all came out. There's heat mechanics. Yes, there are heat mechanics. In fact, there is a system. Currently is a system. I don't want to say that it's like a full I don't know what it's gonna look like, because I'm currently to let you guys know like how long we've been testing it. I'm currently doing layout for test version 11, and so in test 10, so just get excited wherever you feel. There is a system that you can take at level 1 called Take Heat, which has a reaction that has the concentrate and system traits. Once per hour, you can, when you attempt a skill check requiring 3 actions or fewer, you get a +2 status bonus to the triggering skill check. In addition, the Beck circuitry glows, lighting a 10-foot emanation in dim light for 1 round. So yes, there is going to be heat mechanics. I mean, I'm looking at the systems right now. If you thought Pathfinder had customization, you have yet to see what mechs bring. Because you can not only play an Orc Nephilim pilot, you can also play in a decked out Thaumaturge mech. I mean, we wanted to bring the feel of, you know, Armored Core, of Lancer, all these other heavy mech inspired games and systems and inspirations. Like I said, Pacific Rim was the biggest inspiration for me. The whole idea of Mechfinder so far has been answering the question of what if Pacific Rim had fantasy instead of kaiju, and we're very excited. Dido's talking about it in chat about making their exact build, and I mean, it is, we really wanted to provide as much as possible when it came to it. It has its own internal math system for, by the way, eventually at level 17 as a current right now, you can spend 18 mech points and your mech becomes gargantuan. So stay tuned, because these mechs can get up to 250 feet tall, and we're not even talking about the magic that goes into all of this. You want to inspire courage. You want to cast Force Barrage. I almost said Magic Missile. I almost caught myself there. You want to be tiny. You want to have a strong hull but small frame. You want to have flight. I literally am trying to bring as much customization to you as possible. And with Mechfinder, we really, really want you to have that feel that you are in control, while Pathfinder's internal math system takes care of the rest. We are going to be silly repeat full question demo when 1 month from now, exactly 1 month, or until it gets completed earlier and everybody that's on the Mechfinder demo team says, yeah, James, go for it. Exactly a month from now, it will be on the Kickstarter page. It will have a good section for how to build mechs. I don't want to show it off yet because we're still finalizing some of the rules in the background, such as a pilot class. And all of the other stuff. I don't want to say what's fully going into it yet, just because I don't want to give you a promise and then not live up to that promise. But if you have a concept in mind, I will do my very, very best to make sure it's represented. Whether it's you literally going from a small dude like Jet Jaguar and then growing like Jet Jaguar, or even doing a Power Rangers thing where it's just you really small, get defeated, and then you zoop up to 100 feet. We got you covered. We're literally, I cannot stress how much stuff that we are trying to make sure this book could cover, and to not like overdo how much is going to be in this book. We are at 130 pages in layout right now. I mean, it's a lot. Give me Shield Magus with a Barrier Mage archetype, or give me death. Wait till you see this Magus art. You're gonna love it, especially if you love shields. That being said, we will do another stream at some point talking about stuff like the new archetypes that are going to be in it, the new types of creatures that we're going to be able to see, deeper dives with some of the co-authors given their schedule, to talk about where they've contributed to the project. But please, please, please go to the link that will be when could people see it get played? Great question. We are going to do day of launch on the Lost Caravan, which is a sponsor of this, not only the stream of this game. Here, I will transition real quick. You can find the Lost Caravan logo right there, right next to EOG and the Snap system. You can go to the Lost Caravan and find it there. There's going to be 2 games being run in September, and we're going to see a few other places, various around. But go to the link, once again, that's in chat. That's bit.ly/KSM, all capital, Mechfinder, to sign up. I seriously cannot stress, it means the absolute world to us that we have people supporting this project. It is blowing my mind, because not only was Monstrous Beast such a amazing project to get, not only meet people, these people, a lot of people are coming back to return, to keep working with Eldritch Osiris Games. And like I said, this whole, we've been working on this in January. It's launching in September, so you can see the 9 months that we've put a lot of time, money, and effort into. And we're very, very excited for you to see everything that we have in store. So please go ahead and hit notify me on the launch. It means the absolute world, and I promise you, we will be seeing more reveals as time goes on. The closer we get, the more art we can show off, the more we can talk about the system and the upcoming trailers for Mechfinder. So thank you all. I hope everybody has a great rest of their evening, their day, and I will I'm going to go celebrate with dinner. So thank you, everybody, and I will see you all in a bit. Goodbye.